Good morning. It is me, Pearl, and this is Tuned In Tarot. And we're about to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies inside of ourselves. Understanding that whatever state we find these energies in, we can expect to see reflected back to us from our outside world. So we can glean things from people in our lives through these readings, but really we're only looking at our own energies. And if we want to see changes in our environment, we have to commit to making those changes and shifts within ourselves, raising our self-worth, filling up our own cup, etc., etc. So, you're thinking about a specific person perhaps, or a specific thing you're trying to manifest, but what we're looking at is the energy in you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. All right. Divine Feminine's going first again because she had more of her cards visible to me. So she has more urgency in being heard today, I guess. It is weirdly dark for Los Angeles at 9:49 a.m. So my cards are in shadow here, which is an interesting way to view them this morning. Okay. Divine Feminine, you can't shake this feeling of your destiny. We've got the top of the deck, forefront of the mind, overall headspace, the wheel of fortune in its reverse. So we're seeing that you feel like you really, really want to be the master of your own destiny. You're kind of you're fighting against this change, this shift. You feel it coming, and you're you are working very hard. I can testify, but you are definitely chafing at the timeline and the way things happen and why they are happening and for what and where to for. That's your energy. And Divine Feminine, your song today, wow. Okay, so Divine Masculine had um a song called Calling by Matthew Deere from the Bunny album, which was I've seen your face before. It arrived at my door. It was bawling. I wrapped you up inside my arms. I wanted you to feel warm. Snow was falling. I never knew a thing unclean. Clean. I swore I'd never be obscene again for your love. You took me inside your heart. You drafted up a brand new star for the calling. If it wasn't for the bad disease that crept up inside of me was mauling, it was mauling. Well, I tried to stay true to everyone inside of you, but my best wasn't good enough. No, my best wasn't good enough for the rest of us. Teach me a song, don't let me go. He repeats over and over. And then, if you want to love me, I'll stay long. Teach me a song, don't let me go. That's Divine Masculine today. Divine Feminine, you had Witch's Rave from Jeff Buckley. It sounds just like a scream. I don't know what you mean. Your witchcraft's all around me in your ragged pagan scene. You tell me all the ways around my garden that you like. I float just like a bubble heading for the spike. All is well between the breast of passenger and slave. We'll never make it out alive to join the witch's rave. You like to see him suffer for your fantasy and thrill. He fell sick while we made love. He's out there somewhere still. Oh, I feel the spell that you have cast, hot pink, nasty bubble gum, coming down just like big red coal. I can't help from looking outside for a guarantee. I can't help from looking outside for a guarantee. Hey, I try to keep all hidden when you come around, but the sight of broomsticks sliding on the ground. You're levitating something because I feel so collectible. We're all lying natural. He's watching from a window up above. I see he loves you. I'll bring you closer. Something in my fate says it's not right for me. Tell me, am I cursed or am I blessed? I can't tell, because all is well between the breast of passenger and slave. I never make it out alive and join the witch's rave. And then over and over again, Divine Feminine's side is saying, I can't help from looking outside for a guarantee, resonating so strongly. You're looking outside for a guarantee right now because you're here with me. And I'm looking outside for a guarantee because I'm here doing the reading. So can't help looking outside for a guarantee. And when we're looking outside for a guarantee, we're not trusting our fate. And we're not trusting in divine timing. And we're trying to control the outcome because we want a specific outcome. And we're afraid. Someone pointed out the other day that when you text somebody to confirm, it's a sign that you have anxiety that they won't show up. And that could be for a number of reasons. It could be because, you know, they haven't shown up before, and you just want to make sure this time that you're not going to be going to this location and not seeing this person. Or it can be just that you're concerned that they might feel that you might not show up, or but it's about anxiety, and it's about not trusting in that when you make a time and you set a time and a place with somebody, that you're going to have the capability to maintain that time and place, and so will they. And so you try to control the outcome by reminding yourself and the person a few days later, like, or before, or just before, hey, is that going to happen? I had to do that with a student today because I have a student that I don't always see regularly, and I just was like, kind of worried and just like, hey, everything okay? Right? Anxiety, not trusting that everything's okay. And sometimes it's appropriate. Like you get a niggle and you're like, I hope everything's okay with so and so. I haven't seen them. That's an intuitive hit. But the constant state of not trusting in your fate, not trusting in your destiny, that comes from being a wounded child that had a very unsafe environment. And it doesn't mean necessarily that it was like, a horrific scene from a Dickens novel at your house. It's like just potentially that you didn't feel safe in some way. Your security in some way was not quite what it should have been. And you developed a tendency to like worry about potential outcomes and plan for them and try to control them, etc. Instead of working with your destiny, working with your fate, flowing with that energy, letting things just be like, I guess there must be a reason. I can trace a line through every incident of my life. And I've been doing that the last couple of days, trying to prove or disprove what I know is true about my DM. Like going over and then this happened and this happened. But what is this? But what does this mean? But what about this? But what is this? Because I'm afraid that I don't know my destiny, that I can't control my destiny, that that's not my destiny, that, right? Terror. I feel you, divine feminine. All right. Niggling thing in the back of the mind. Oh, is a divine masculine expressing a lot? Because that's what this is to me about today. A lot of times when we're seeing the King of Cups, we're like, he's the greatest king. He's kind, compassionate, just, honest, brave, true, intuitive, psychic, nurturing, sensitive, cries at a good film, reflects on the past, nostalgic, thoughtful, considerate. Did I cover it all? He's amazing, super great. But he doesn't tell you how he feels. He holds it in, he clamps it down, stays in his shell. Maybe he bursts out once in a while and you're like, what the fuck? You didn't even mention that this is how you felt at all, and now this is how you feel? What do you mean? Right? So normally when we're seeing the reversal on this guy, we're seeing like him in the shadow traits. He's kind of he's wanting to release that aspect, or she wants him to release that aspect. And I think what I'm seeing here is in the back of her mind, she's realizing like, oh my Lanta, he's telling me everything. It's all coming out all of a sudden. Like it started a little trickle and now it's a flow. And it's like that Knight of Cups card with all of that water that she's been terrified of for weeks. But instead, it's this King of Cups energy and her own emotions and her own like terror of like, can I receive? Can I really truly be worthy of and receive a king like this? Because this is a good one. So like, am I ready for this? That's the back of her mind. First thing on her mind, not doing the work. Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And it's not a card today that's like, oh, release attachment to the materials. She's doing a great job. No. It's like you're avoiding some work. Either work on the self or work. Like maybe you're just kind of fucking it off and watching readings all day, or like Beverly Hills Housewives or Housewives of OC because Vanderpump Rules is over. So what else are you going to do now? Like, do your work. Do it. You're very caught up in your destiny and whether it's going to happen, and you're hearing this expression and feeling this expression from this King of Cups, and it's overwhelming and you love it, but it's also like happening and you're like kind of freaked out by it. So like, come back to your passions, come back to your center, come back to honoring your craft. And this is in your mind already, so it's not something that you needed me to tell you, but you also needed me to tell you. You're welcome. Do your work. I'm going to shift this upright for you so you can start doing your work. Look how strong you are, though. In the same position that it appeared the other day, we have the strength card. The day we had the major, major day. Today we have major, major, major. But the other day was crazy. It was like 7 major cards. That was nuts. And that was a big shift and a big change. And I feel it. I feel it. A big, cracked, wide open feeling for this divine feminine. And she's stronger and she's really doing a good job of controlling that pride and ego right now. She has done the work. I'll give you a pass, all right, with this card in its reversal. It means do work, but it does mean continue to focus on your passions. But you've done the work, and you are controlling this pride and ego. I won't be so mean. I'll be a little nicer to you on this fine Wednesday morning. Strength. You have it. You're using it. Your pride and your ego are being controlled right now because this is a time where you're feeling a lot of feels and you want to do things and you're really trying to also keep yourself. It's that divine feminine side trying to keep her divine masculine from trying to take the lead. She's like, no, you need to receive this King of Cups. You must be there waiting to receive him. You cannot be the one that just there's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to do. This is what her divine feminine strength is about. This relationship is eternal. It will happen. Trust. And that's this 4 of Swords. She needs strength. She needs strength to endure the grief and mourning period that has happened from the cessation of what she wanted, which was some kind of material manifestation that has passed away. But the time that she has gone into this mourning and into this silence has been a time of prayer and reflection. And she's feeling absolved. And it was like learning about how to forgive and really realizing the strength of the connection, that no matter what has really happened, no matter what grief has been caused, no matter the silence, the strength of the connection is so eternal. And there's like a calm assurance for her in that energy. And she also has to be strong during this time of silence. She's receiving these communications but having to remain silent, and it's a very in between place to be. And then Temperance is here, and it's upright. In this Temperance, we have this divine masculine figure doing the pouring of the water. And typically we see an angel here, the Archangel Raphael. Although Archangel Raphael does have a masculine energy for me. But this is this pouring back and forth of the energy very carefully from cup to cup so that there's a balance, so that both stay full, that none is lost. This is also about divine feminine not doing this work herself. And this is what she's requiring the strength for. She is having to be strong, not doing this work while this angelic presence takes care of business. And the work that she needs to do is like her material, practical work. That's why I'm saying get to work. Like, because you're focused on divine masculine. You're focused on the twin flame journey, the fate, the destiny, whatever, the manifestation process. And you're also starting to like feel a lot of these emotions coming from the divine masculine. And so now you're overwhelmed by his feelings as well. And so it would help you, it would behoove you to focus a little bit on your masculine worth energy and work and get deep into your craft. That's going to help you feel strong enough to be able to endure the silence that's happening right now as the divine takes care of business behind the scenes. So you're trying not to work against this divine energy. So you're accepting this time of healing. There's that Nine of Wands hasn't left your headspace. You know it. You're like, healing these wounds. That grief energy from the Four of Swords, the painful ending that comes from that Three of Swords into the Four of Swords requires this Nine of Wands energy where you're a little bit isolated. You're just doing your healing, stitching those wounds with the divine. And this is clarifying how strong you are as well. That you are in your strength as you're doing this healing. It's making you stronger. It's refining you. And that you fought hard battles and you've been wounded. And what you are healing is your tendency to protect yourself in this Eight of Swords energy, to mistakenly protect yourself from the things that you love. That's what has caused you grief. Protecting yourself by trying to control everything, right? By trying to embody that divine masculine energy for yourself because you couldn't trust that it was going to come from outside of yourself, but you were in the shadow, you were in the distorted masculine energy, the controlling rigidity, not the, gentle guidance that is the light traits of the divine father energy. So there has been this tendency to protect yourself, and you've killed opportunities you've had because of this. You've put an end to them. And so you're really working on healing these wounds, and it is requiring a lot of strength, but it is definitely a time of healing for you. And you're so aware of this. And I also feel like with that Eight of Pentacles in reverse, you feel like this is the work that I've done. And I can see how that's the change that I really need to make, is to do that, is to allow now that openness to receive a king like this, who is expressing how much he loves me. And it's amazing. Consequently, I have this relief in the heart space because the top of the deck for the heart space for the divine feminine is Judgment. And I just, not coincidentally, had a conversation with one of my best friends last night about the Catholic sacrament of reconciliation. We were talking about therapy in the modern age and how therapy is sort of a stand-in for religious and spiritual guidance. It's just like a secular sort of advisor kind of replacement, I guess. And I was talking about how the true nature of reconciliation, a lot of people get confused if they're not part of the private Catholic club about what exactly happens in confession, right? There's like this idea that you confess your sins, and then your sins are forgiven. I guess people have a general understanding of that, but it's looked on as this shameful kind of a thing, confession, and also embarrassing to like confess to a person. But the sacrament, what the sacrament is what this Judgment card represents. The true sacrament, as practiced, is you go in, hold yourself accountable for the ways that you have been protecting yourself, because that is all sin is. Sin is sin against the self. It's not shameful. The shame is something that has come from the shadow, but it's not truly what it is. Sin is just like, I didn't know, I did this, and I can see how it hurt me. And then the spiritual advisor you're with, they might have a few words of advice for you that's spiritually guided, like in my readings. And after they give you those words of spiritual advice, hopefully if they're truly a connected individual, not every person is, but you're hoping that the person that you're interacting with is a good spiritual guide, offers good spiritual guidance. They give you a penance, which is something to help you, like mantras, help you to focus on being cleansed. And then you are absolved of all of your sin in that moment. You're forgiven and you're new. You don't have to carry the shame of it anymore. There's no shame. You have been made clean. That's what this card represents. So divine feminine is in her heart space, feeling the power of absolution, the power of having figured it out. Hey, I did this to protect myself from receiving what it is that I desire, which is this love from a king of cups like this. I protected myself. I fought against my fate and my destiny, trying to control everything because I was afraid, because of the things that have happened to me that have caused me grief in the past, that have hurt me, that I'm scared of, things I didn't realize I didn't even understand, fears I didn't even realize were so powerful. So I figured that out, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry to myself. I'm sorry, self, that I did that to you. I'm sorry that I protected you from joy and happiness and fulfillment because I was scared you couldn't handle it, because that's a lesson that I learned when I was too little to have any true understanding and no one to explain to me. I'm sorry. And then you're feeling relief because you realize, oh, I had no malice. I had no malice. So that is what her heart is feeling. And consequently, the niggling feeling is the sun. It's illumination and happiness, contentment, being fulfilled. It's that iciness melting away. The strength and power of the sun's energy to cause things to grow. The first thing in her heart space is this King of Swords energy. It's in its reversal. So we're looking at the King of Cups in reverse and the King of Swords in reverse. We're looking at divine masculine energy that's here but not here. And we're looking at what she's trying not to work on. She is trying not to take control of the King of Swords aloofness, the iciness, the coldness. She's trying not to do anything. She's trying not to work against it. She's trying not to work against herself. Instead of railing against that energy of that, not knowing what he's doing, not knowing his strategy, not knowing exactly what his truth is, not having a clear idea of why he's done the things he's done or why he's doing the things she's doing. She's working, trying not to work against that energy or work against herself. Instead, she's calling on that strength to receive the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups can express in a healthy way. He has the ability to have all of that feeling and emotion that's, swirling around this King of Cups. And because he doesn't have the responsibility of protection and leadership that this King of Cups has, he's free to express it in a really healthy way. He doesn't have to hide. It's a youthful energy. It's an excited energy. And it's where she is right now. She's excited because we're seeing Knight of Cups upright for her. And this isn't just because Divine Masculine's coming. I'm sure he is. This is really about her being open to receiving because of, and I can't make it up, this Four of Swords, this time of prayer and silence and going within and surrendering that this card represents, is being clarified by Temperance, which is also the following card. So it is on both sides. This trust, this faith in divine intervention, in healing, in balancing, in tempering this energy. When she trusts in this energy, which she's doing better, she's trusting in her heart space today. We're seeing union now. Yesterday, we saw her not trusting her intuition. Today, we see her releasing those fears and trusting in the healing power of the divine. I can't even believe this fucking shit. Okay, Temperance is being clarified by the Hierophant, by marriage, by higher lessons, by having learned these lessons, by sacred union. it's no coincidence that we just talked at length about reconciliation, and we have here this priestly energy, this Hierophant energy of sacred union and this marriage that she longs for. And this is the balance and the healing that she knows is taking place to prepare her to receive that, because she is the Empress. And this is what this healing she is doing is allowing her to truly be. Because until she heals these wounds, she cannot receive all of the abundance that is here for her as this Empress. She can't. You can't receive things you're afraid to receive. You cannot. If you tell the divine, I want this, and then you're like, I'm afraid of it, what's the divine going to do? Like, well, you got to work on not being afraid of it. So I give it to you because I got to honor both of your requests. And both of your requests were, I want it, but I'm scared. Please don't give it to me. Your guardian angels are like, but you're healing that so that you can really feel, you can really believe in the power that you have to receive all of this kind of a love from this King of Cups energy. Also, no accident that you are happy. The niggling thing, this King of Cups telling you how much he loves you and that he's coming for you and all these things, certainly is in alignment with a feeling of happiness, contentment, and illumination, right? You're seeing, you're being enlightened about how this king is expressing. And there's the moon, clarifying the Eight of Swords in its reverse. So here we have mystery. And mystery goes hand in hand with the Hierophant and angelic energy and the sacred. This is uncertainty, but this is the awareness that the thing that causes you to protect yourself is just your fear of the unknown. You are very comfortable in this dream space, and you're afraid of the 3D. So you protect yourself from having to come out of this energy. This uncertainty makes you fear, and so you stay in the fantasy space with hidden and veiled meanings to protect yourself from the potential of being wrong, being hurt, etc. Wow, Divine Feminine. Wow, wow. All right. There's also a million oracles, I think, today, or there's maybe not a million, but there's a chunk. So we got a minute. It's gonna be a minute. Divine Masculine's doing some overthinking. We gotta go into that. Oh no, what is happening? All right, let's channel before we start to get all in a tizzy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Top of the deck, overall headspace for Divine Masculine today is the Five of Swords. All right, so what do we have here? Well, I would say I would feel a defeated masculine, but I don't know. I don't think it's about defeat today. I think that what I'm really seeing is that he's battling, because the niggling thing in the back of his mind is the Eight of Swords in reverse. So what I'm seeing is that he's fighting against, good morning, Ash. He's fighting against this Eight of Swords energy. Divine Feminine is in over here. He's fighting against his own tendency to protect himself, right? We see this person that's just kind of laid down in defeat, but they've drawn this protection around themselves to keep themselves from getting hurt, and that's why they're surrendering. But I don't sense surrender today in this card. I just sense this bigger message here, which is he's fighting against his tendency to protect himself from what it is that he desires. And in the Cosmic Tarot, the Eight of Swords, beautifully done, shows us the divine couple not facing each other, but yet surrounded by all these swords. So they're like within this protective circle, and they can't even see each other. And all they have to do is turn around, and then, oh, there they are. They're there for each other, and they were there the whole time. But they were blind. They couldn't see. And they were too afraid to turn around. So he's fighting against this tendency that both of them have had. He's fighting against his own tendency, and he's fighting against divine feminine, because here she is over here being afraid and protecting herself, right? So he's really working hard to be the one that kind of breaks through this energy that they've been in. The first thing he's thinking of is this Five of Pentacles. This is why I'm like, what's going on? Because this is an interesting spread. There's a couple things. Number one, he wants to bring divine feminine in out from the cold. That's the battle he's trying to fight. That's the thing we saw, forefront and back of the mind. He wants to fight against the energy where they protect themselves from each other. So he wants to bring divine feminine in out of the cold. Number two, he's feeling a lack energy. He might be feeling some financial issues. He might have financial issues. He might be working on healing them. But this is in contrast to another card. So I'm not entirely certain that it's really about financial issues, but I'm mentioning it because Five of Pentacles can be about lack. But what I really think is that he just wants to bring them in from out of the cold. He's fighting against this self-protection that makes them both on the outside looking in or the inside looking out, however you want to view that. And then we have Devil energy. Now we have Temperance energy all over divine feminine side. So she's healing. And here's the Devil energy that needs healing. And the position in the reading coming after this Five of Pentacles, it's like, this is what's been obsessing divine masculine. This is what he's been obsessed with being able to do. And the reason I'm saying that is because the third card is this King of Pentacles, but it's upright. So he's feeling like a King of Pentacles, but he's realizing that what he has been fighting against has been this protection. And he has utilized this material world focus to be able to like, he's used this excuse as his protection. He's realizing, oh, I kept divine feminine out of the cold because of this lack that I felt. And I was obsessed with creating this material wealth and well-being for her so that I could protect and provide, etc. But what I'm realizing, and I rarely have to hold all of these cards, but what I'm realizing is that this here has kept me out in the cold from my spiritual fulfillment. This 10 of Cups. So my obsession with the material and with being this King of Pentacles actually has been the thing that has blocked me. And this is what he wants to stop fighting against. He doesn't want to be blocked from his divine feminine, from his integrating of the divine feminine and the spiritual fulfillment anymore. So he's understanding that this Devil energy, I'm also getting a strong sense that there may be an actual drinking problem, because here is this match again with this Devil energy, which is a card about addiction. And then we have a cup pouring out. So it could be that this is, one of the other reasons that he's kept divine feminine in the cold is to protect her from this Devil energy he has for his tendency to abuse substances. It could be that. It also could just be that the obsession, the single-minded focus, the codependency, he's realizing how this depleted him and made it very difficult for him to have love for himself, because he felt he was always focused on how he didn't have enough, how he wasn't this King of Pentacles. And he based his worthiness on his ego, right? Because this is also his ego as well. So as long as his ego has been in charge, creating this King of Pentacles energy for him, it has kept him from being able to give this cup that is filled to divine feminine. And this is his overthinking. This King of Pentacles is being clarified by the Prince of Wands, which in the Cosmic Tarot is the card that represents the Knight of Wands in OG Smith Waite imagery. We've got Knight of Wands energy. But we're seeing it upright, and we're not seeing it in this in its shadow necessarily, except that it's coming right after this feeling of depletion. So he's kind of having this awareness that this is what causes him to do this. When he's in his cups, not in the best way possible, we're seeing sporadic messaging, drunk texting, drunk posting, things like that, things where he's not been in control of the passion he feels. And so there's been some influence of how his fears and not feeling love for himself and not feeling nurtured and his inner child wounds that are a reflection of divine feminines. For him, what that caused him to do is focus on the material to the exclusion of his spiritual fulfillment, and to act in these inconsistent, passionate ways, or make these communications that were not coming from a place of self-love. But the overthinking we like today, because what we're seeing is patience with himself in regards to this matter, right? Yes, he made himself this King of Pentacles. Hooray. But he still acted like this Prince of Wands to the divine feminine. And so he's forgiving himself for this energy in this Three of Wands. He's understanding that there was reasons, there was divine timing behind this. There's pieces that have had to fall into place. He's understanding that their wounds are perfectly matched to one another. He's understanding that he needs to draw his inspiration and love from the divine to fill this cup. And the final bit of overthinking we're seeing is mirroring divine feminine. We have the Hierophant in reverse. We're seeing him thinking about how this Prince of Wands energy has kept him from truly committing to the divine feminine. And it comes from his fears in regards to his ability to be able to be this man worthy of this kind of love. And his wounds that have come from these past legal contracts. This could be a past marriage, past commitment with someone that really made him engage in these self-protective behaviors. So what we see right now is a divine masculine who's taken stock. He went away into that hermit energy and kind of isolated and sat there and really sussed it out and was like, okay, divine feminine is figuring out what is wrong with her, and she's afraid of this because of this, and what am I doing? And so divine feminine or divine masculine is really taking that time to go deep within and really figure out what he's done instead of having me tell him. The top of the deck, overall heart space, is the Eight of Cups in reverse. And there's a positive energy here because it's not about him not walking away from things that don't serve him that he needs to do. This is him being like, divine feminine, I am not going to walk away from this. I am not going to walk away from what we had at all. He's not accepting defeat. He won't in this regard. And he's fighting for it. That's why we're seeing the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Swords, and the feeling instead of defeat from this card because of that Eight of Swords, he's fighting against the energy that caused him to protect himself from divine feminine. So he's not going to let her walk away either. That's the other message from this card. I'm not letting you walk away from this, and I'm not going to walk away from this either. I'm going to work for it. The niggling feeling is the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, which is in union with divine feminine's Eight of Pentacles in reverse. And this is, again, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to fight against it. I'm not going to walk away from it. I'm not going to work against myself. I'm not going to be focused only on my job, my career, the material world. Because for divine masculine, he needs to mirror that energy too. Divine feminine needs to start focusing on her masculine worth energy, because she's been not doing that because she's been trying to get the external masculine to kind of fulfill that for her. And she not necessarily, I'm not talking about like money wise, giving her money. I'm talking about she valued the divine masculine worth energy more than her own. Like she was like, he's the, he's worthy of my love because of this worth energy that he has, instead of developing her own worth energy that matches his. That's like her imbalance. For divine masculine, he's overdeveloped the masculine worth energy and that obsession with being this man of the world. And for him, that's blocked him from his spiritual fulfillment. So they have mirrored each other, and this cycle is coming to an end. And I can't make it up. It's the Wheel of Fortune, and it's in reverse because they are both trying to control the outcome here, and they're really working on releasing this energy. Divine Feminine is aware that she's doing this. Divine Masculine feels that he's doing this, and he's fighting against this destiny because of this Five of Pentacles energy that makes him feel this lack, the lack of the presence of the Divine Feminine, the lack of abundance, the feeling of that void inside, which he is trying to be aware that Divine Feminine can't fill. He's really trying to learn this lesson. It's a difficult lesson to learn. But there is this sense that there's going to be this big shift or this big change that is very imminent. And it is coming from the ability for them to go within and figure these things out and heal these wounds. And we're seeing the Six of Swords. Now, this is beautiful because the heart space is acknowledging the devil energy as the tool. Okay? This takes away the shame of devil energy, because if there is substance abuse associated with it, that is still a self-protective behavior. You are thinking about it in a shameful way. You're saying, oh, I do this and I shouldn't do this and I'm bad because I do it. No, you are not bad because you do it. You are not. You have a certain amount of tools to help you survive. This is one of them. You use the pain and suffering that this caused as a bridge to get you from where you were to where you want to be. And Divine Masculine feels in his heart space the necessity of the ego's energy, the necessity that the ego caused him to focus on certain things and cause pain and cause strife, because that is what has helped him to get to this place where he has become this King of Pentacles, and he can be finally manifest. Because when do we ever see the King of Pentacles upright in the headspace? This is what has helped him achieve this worth energy that he has. His ego did guide him to this place, and the ego isn't all bad. It has a purpose. It's when we allow it to control the chariot that we're going all over the place, right? So he's learned this lesson, and then we can't make it up because this card is already being clarified by the Three of Wands upright. And now it's again being clarified by the Three of Wands. And this time it's in its reversal, because it's just an acknowledgement that in order to manifest this King of Pentacles energy, he's had to relinquish that control over the pieces falling into place. He's had to release his impatience in regards to this process and just let the divine do its work. And we see this beautiful countering that's usually going for Divine Feminine. We're seeing an integrated Divine Masculine, because normally we will see the fear in Divine Masculine's headspace and the reassurance in his heart space. And today we see the fear in his heart space that, you know, it's taking too long. He doesn't know if he can trust the timeline, and his headspace being like, nope, perfect timing. Everything's going according to plan. We just have to wait for these pieces to fall into place from this past legal contracts, whatever contracts are being signed right now or dealt with, but there is nothing to worry about. You don't have to be afraid. Four of Pentacles. It is upright. I'm not getting a sense that, I take that back. I was going to say, I'm not getting a sense it's about not letting go, but it is. It's not quite the same thing. So it's foundation. This Divine Masculine who's in King of Pentacles energy must be feeling like he has a pretty solid foundation right now in general. So this card is like there's a solid foundation. But there is a clinging. There's a clinging to Divine Feminine. So we're looking at a little bit of a block because he's clinging to this spiritual fulfillment a little too much. He's like, I can't lose it. I can't lose her. I can't lose her. Please don't go. Please stay. Please don't go. Please stay. Please go. Please don't go, right? And so Queen of Pentacles, she's not quite here yet, but that is his match. That's his abundant, fertile queen with everything she could possibly desire surrounding her, everything she needs, and that solid offer she's received finally in place. And he wants to shower that on her so much. And he also wants to share in her abundance because he sees her power and her ability to create and manifest. But because he's clinging to that, because he's clinging to her and he's working on it, he's feeling that he's needing to release this, because this is what is clarifying this Ace of Cups in reverse. This Queen of Pentacles, this attachment to this Queen of Pentacles, this obsession, right? Because this was clarified by the Devil energy. This is what has blocked him from her. But that Six of Swords that is clarifying this above here is that he's understanding now that that journey was purposeful. He had to block himself from her so that he could figure out how to fill this up himself. And we'll shift that upright for him so that he can experience that understanding that he's shifting now into this energy where his cup is full. And when he shifts into his full cup, he can share it with this Queen of Pentacles. So we'll shift that for him. Heart space. Don't fight it, Divine Masculine. So we've got top of the deck, we've got this Five of Swords energy, and I was certain when I felt the energy that it wasn't about defeat. It was about wanting to fight, not wanting to accept defeat, not wanting to protect himself, fighting against protecting himself. And here's the heart confirming that for me. Not accepting defeat in regards to Knight of Wands energy, the timeline, and past legal contracts. Not willing to accept this defeat. That is definitely what this card is representing. Fighting against the energy that has caused him to accept this defeat and protect himself. And he's been working on this slowly and steadily because apparently he was overfeeling in his heart space as well. Slowly and steadily, this Knight of Pentacles offer with that pentacle that this Divine Feminine is receiving, he's coming. He's filling his cup. He's working on that Devil energy. He's realizing what it is that he's been doing that's been holding himself back. And he's not fighting anymore against the timeline. He's not fighting against the energy, that this passion, this feeling that he wants to throw caution to the wind, because he's a King of Pentacles now. He can have, because he's a King of Pentacles, he can be a Prince of Wands. He can throw caution to the wind and come in and sweep Divine Feminine off her feet and quickly and communicate all of his feelings to her. He can do that now. It's time even to do that. We're getting this clear communication from his heart and head that it is time to do that. And that these legal contracts, these past rigid belief systems that have been in place, they're no longer holding him back because he is not accepting defeat against them. He has done all he could to slowly and steadily move towards this energy. And now that he's a King of Pentacles, he can finally engage in this romancing that he's really wanted to do for all this time. And because that's happening, Divine Feminine is feeling very overwhelmed. In a good way, because the sun is there, but still, she's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, let's look at her oracles. Divine Feminine, you are in the shadow attributes of the guide energy, which is places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. And you need to call in the light, which represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. So you might have fallen into, there's a lot of people who watch these readings that are light workers, and they are spiritual guides themselves. They're tarot readers, they're healers, mediums, etc. And so you might have fallen into this trap of mistaking your calling to be of service and to help people see and understand and achieve clarity through their relationship with the divine, through you as a vessel. You might be feeling like a lot of pressure because that's your job. You might be feeling a lot of pressure to make sure that there's a financial gain that's coming from it. The minute you do that, and I will use Divine Masculine's card to illustrate because this is your energy, right? The minute you put that material financial gain responsibility on spiritual fulfillment, you close off your channel, your cup to the divine, and your creativity and abundance becomes very difficult to manifest. Right? So, if you have felt pressure to make your guidance to others, your healing work to others, somehow to make it, to control its ability to support you, you need to step back from that energy. The divine will get you real paid if you're doing this work, especially if that's not why you're doing it. So you need to go into the light, which represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. You are only a messenger. You are only in service for the betterment, for the divine, right? That's the only reason. And you have to, in that responsibility, you have to do that work for the divine, not for the ego. So make sure that you're balanced there. If you're finding yourself having a difficult time with this energy, you might want to get what Lacey Phillips from howtomanifest.com refers to as a bridge job, which is a job that is deeply in alignment with your authentic code. So I don't mean, if McDonald's is in alignment with your authentic code, go to town. That could be. You might want to be in the service industry in some way. Like, you might want to learn how to make a business that's a fast food business that has supportive foods. And in order to do that, you need to see how one works, like as a bridge to where you want to go. But the idea is you want to get to what's authentic to you, like what it is that, for me, my authentic code is nourishing myself and others through spirituality and wellness, creativity, joyful expression, and aesthetics. Those things are important to me. And that's how I try to determine the things that I'm doing in my life with varying degrees of success. But if I needed to get a bridge job right now to supplement my income, I would want to look for something that would support my larger dream. So if I want to, I want to have a center like that has a music studio in it and a really supportive environment to record music and be able to do workshops or something like that. So I need to learn how to manage a studio. I need to learn like finance management. I need to learn marketing, promotion, social media content publishing, because that's how we do everything now. I need to right. So there's all these different things that would help me to accomplish that goal. And if I was feeling myself trying to put pressure on my music making money, which kills your music immediately, instantly, then what I would want to do instead is get another job, which you're like, well, that takes time away from your passion. Well, don't get a full-time one if you can manage it. Get a part-time one. Trust that you're going to see income come in other ways, and just get a part-time job that starts to push you towards the place where you're learning the skills where you want to be able to go. That will help you take the pressure off of this healing work to become financial boon for you. And you'll be learning skills that are helping you. So you're not feeling stuck like you do when you have to just take any job and you're like, ugh, I have to take this job and I don't even want it. Choose something that really is intentional and see the difference in what it feels like to go to work every day when you can remind yourself, hey, I'm the assistant to this marketing director, and it's kind of grueling a little bit. And she asked me to do things. She's kind of texting me all day. It's annoying. There's all these things that are annoying about it. But then you're thinking in your mind, but I'm learning what it takes to be a marketing director. And maybe she does things I don't like, and I learned that I don't want to be that way. Maybe she does things I like, and I'm like, oh, that's what I want. And it's how you're experiencing it that's helping you feel passionate about it. And then as you feel passionate about it, you feel focused on that, you feel good about that, you stop thinking about your other work making money. And then what happens? Oh, you just got a reading, or you just got somebody wants you to produce their track, or you just, whatever it is that you're trying to get. If you can take your focus off of it, you can get it. And if you can put your focus on something that's helping you grow, that thing you're focusing on can feel good, even if it's not exactly the thing that you were initially wanting to do. This is the longest reading, but yes, hopefully that is helpful to you. Hey, be optimistic. Be very optimistic. Your guardian angel is here to help you with optimism about things working out, about what you're feeling optimistic about. Stay in that optimism. Keep pushing away the desire to focus on things that make you feel afraid or sad. But whose truth is the true truth? This is the card that talks about, with enough attention to anything, what you've been giving thought to eventually becomes a physical manifestation. And so as others give their attention to things, that becomes a physical manifestation. But you must deliberately focus on what you want to be true. If someone says that something's true, you can be like, okay, well, that's true for you, but I don't feel that I want to focus on that. I'm going to focus on what is true for me and create my own reality. And that's the power of differentiating between other people's reality and what you want your reality to be, because there are always exceptions to the rule, because everything's infinitely changing and shifting. You're very close to achieving your goal, Divine Feminine. You're like right there. You're very close. I know you're irritated with me. Don't be irritated with me. I did it. The cards pop out. I just read them. The crumbling. What are you clinging to? I can't. We're always clinging to something. We definitely need to release these expectations. We need to release this idea that what we're doing we have to see an immediate return on this investment. We have to trust, we have to believe. Allow these things to pass away. Allow this tower moment to change you. Don't cling to anything. Just let it go and be renewed and start rebuilding. From Colette Baron Reed's Spirit Animal Oracle deck, which I'm still learning, we're getting this beautiful dove spirit again, which is be peace. And this is with her peaceful cooing. The gentle dove spirit invites you to embrace the energy of peace and allow compassion to warm your heart. You always have the power to generate peace within you, and the appearance of dove spirit is a reminder that today and every day is a good day to meditate, which you got that Four of Swords too, that silence and meditation, to quiet any turbulence within as you embody tranquility. Above, below, and all around you, much may be happening to distract you, but you are called to engage it with the heart of a peacemaker, asking yourself, what would peace do? Can you agree to disagree? The peace you seek rises within and spreads out into the world as Spirit sends her messenger to remind you of the beauty of a harmonious existence within all that is. How beautiful and powerful is your compassionate heart. That is so lovely. It's very lovely. Alrighty, let's look at the oracles for the Divine Masculine. He got a bunch of guardians today. Divine Masculine, you're in the light attributes of the damsel, the shadow attributes, which is waiting for a knight to provide for you, or seduction by romantic illusion. That one I'm more drawn to. Look at how the Divine Feminine is holding this frame that makes her look like this is a mirror. The light attributes is understanding the nature of healthy romance and inspiring you to rely on yourself. So, Divine Masculine, you have been learning through these readings, I feel, that you have been believing in an unhealthy illusion of romance. You've been seduced by romantic illusion from TVs, films, books, movies, um, stories that people tell, whose truth is the true truth type of truths. And you're being called right now to move away from this romantic illusion, because part of what's blocking you is the romantic illusion. The romantic illusion is safe, it protects you from reality. Reality is messier. It's a bit more uncomfortable. There's more tower moments going on. So you don't love it, but it's here. We're all here in it. And you make the best of it, and you make your own healthy romance. And that is not about longing. It's been romance for you has been about longing for so long. And it's not about longing. It's about feeling complete and then meeting someone else who also feels that way. And so you're needing to learn this lesson and not be seduced by romantic illusion that if you do the right things or say the right things and then divine feminine says the right things or does the right things, that's controlling. That's trying to control the outcome. Trying to think, oh, I know what she loves and she's going to love this. Like, you don't know. You don't know. You know what society has told you she should love. She might not even know what she should love because society's been telling her for so long, and you both are digging all of this out. So you have to release this idea that there's this perfect ending, this perfect fairy tale ending to this story where you sweep in your Prince of Wands energy and you say, oh, I love you, and you give her the ring and then you're together forever. Like, yeah, there's going to be some version of that, but it is not going to look like what it looks like on the movies. It's not. Saint Raphael is here, the twin flame angel. And he's encouraging you with this healthful eating card. And you had the devil energy and the Ace of Cups in reverse. So there might just be this overindulgence that's taking place right now. And he's just gently, I feel a gentleness here. Didn't come in its reversal where it was like, you are really not eating well. It came in this way that is like, gently care for yourself. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Don't get so fixated. Don't get so obsessed, focused on what's going on that you forget that your call is to be nurturing to yourself so that you can nurture others. You must really take care of your health right now. Saint Teresa, she's with you again of Lizou with slow and steady progress energy, Knight of Pentacles energy. There was a reversal on this, and I'm getting a message that you've been moving slowly and steadily, and now you must tap into that Prince of Wands energy and come out of that slow-moving energy. Plod forward. Saint Teresa of Lisieux is helping you with that youthful, innocent energy to head passionately towards what it is you desire. Stress management card in reverse. You got a lot of stress, but I think you just did a lot of stress management, and it's sort of like, all right, you've got the tools you need. You're good. Let's get moving. Let's get moving is my feeling of these cards. When my desires and beliefs are a vibrational match, you got this yesterday and it's here again. That which is like unto itself is drawn. So the vibration of your being must match the vibration of your desire. Another way of saying that is your desires and your beliefs must be a vibrational match in order for you to receive that which you desire. So this is really a message for you. You must be a match. If you're like, why can't I have what I want? It's because you don't match it. Because there's some part of you that believes you cannot have it. That's it. But you have to figure out what that is. And Divine Masculine, it looks like you're really doing that. Your headspace is filled up with, I'm doing that. So you are figuring it out. You keep getting this. Your conclusions are within your reach, but you're not reaching for them. For this to happen for 3 days in a row, or however many days it's been, is the divine to be like, bro, you have to reach for it. They're within your reach, but you're not reaching. And that big full moon, that's tonight. Reach. The ever unfolding rose, cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. You have to be so careful of this energy, divine masculine. You tend to get this a lot. You tend to see what divine feminine is doing as something that is being done to you, or what others in the world are doing is being done to you, and it's not. Again, let me repeat. People are reflecting your own energy to you. So they are literally like an x-ray for your inner wounds. It's like you got to go to the hospital and do an MRI of your soul. And then they're like, here are the results. And you're like, oh, cool. This is what I need to work on. Or I have to fix this or whatever. That's what people are. They're like virtually a book you can read about your own self. And we're so narcissistic. We all love that. We're like, oh, let me see myself reflected back to me. So they're not doing things to you. They're doing things so that you can see where your wounds are. They're just accommodating your wounds. You're literally, this is going to sound fucked up because I'm saying you're asking for it. And that's kind of like a way of being like, well, she was asking for it, which is a really fucked up energy. And that's not what I mean. You're not asking for bad things to happen to you, but you are asking for something, and your path on the way to that thing has obstacles in it. And the obstacles will match you. They'll match you in your worthiness. They will match you in your unworthiness. And that energetically, I do believe is true. New card today. Reason why I still use the book. Also the messages. C'est magnifique. Skunk spirit. Know your worth. What do you value? What do you believe in? Is your best, most authentic self on display? Skunk spirit comes as a reminder that you can be proud of who you are and what you have accomplished. Know your worth. Not everyone will agree with you or share your values, but you can walk with your head high, knowing that when you express your integrity, others can feel your authenticity and will be inspired by it. Be who you are, and if your reputation precedes you, good. You have much to be proud of, and Skunk Spirit wants you to be your best self, the true you. I love this card. Also, one time when I was a Lyft driver, I had a passenger who we had like a long drive together, and we talked a lot, and we were exchanging Instagram at the end, and she was like, oh, I don't really have my own Instagram. I have an Instagram for my skunk, Fiona. And you can follow Fiona the skunk on Instagram, and she is her pet. She's like allergic to cats or dogs or whatever, but she's not allergic to skunks. And apparently you can have pet skunks and they're pretty great. So if you ever wanted to see what a pet skunk is like, go look at Fiona the skunk on Instagram. And she's super cute. They're very cute. They're like cat-like animals. So anyway, know your worth, divine masculine. All right. Bottom of the deck for this very long reading for both of the divine feminine and divine masculine. We have you in the light attributes of the dilettante, where you are delighting in the arts without having to be a professional and alert to the danger of becoming superficial. So you're enjoying yourselves without having to be professional right now. You've both come to the point where you're like, well, you know what? I'm just kind of a page in this whole love thing. So I'm just going to like work on it and pick up that sword. I'm going to try to do my best. I'm going to like bring that cup in. Awkward as fuck. I have no idea what I was doing because when I was little, I never learned these lessons. I didn't see it modeled for me. I saw weird fucked up relationships modeled on television movies. I saw fantasy ones that didn't exist. I saw terrible ones that had horrible dynamics. Like, I got no clue what I'm doing, but I'm comfortable being comfortable, not being a professional at this at the moment. I'm just learning. And I'm also aware, I'm alert to the danger of becoming too superficial again and not really giving a depth to the expression that I'm trying to engage in with my divine masculine or divine feminine. Saint Dymphna is here to help you with your emotions. And there's an emphasis on this card because you have to remember that your emotions are guiding you. Your emotions are not telling you what bad thing that you are going to manifest because you feel bad. Your emotions are telling you what thoughts you're having that are making you feel bad. And those thoughts you can shift. and change. And as soon as you tune into the feeling of being like, oh God, I feel awful. Like this happened to me yesterday. I didn't feel awful, but I felt weird. I felt off, and I kept having that feeling. And instead of blocking the dialogue with myself about the feeling, I was like, oh, why do I feel like this? And I was like, oh, I'm afraid. I'm just afraid. Like, I'm really afraid that I'm afraid I made it all up. I made it all up again. Like, it's still there, like this fear. And my DM energy was like, be in the Red Sea with me, which had this meaning of when Moses parted the Red Sea, and like all of the Jews followed him out of Egypt, and they went to the next place. And they got to the next place, and he's like, okay, guys, I'm going to go up on this mountain and talk to God. Hang out here. Please don't do any idol worship. I'll be right back. And then he goes up the mountain, and the people are like, bro, Moses is gone. We don't know what to do. We don't know what's going on. We're scared. We don't know when he's coming back. Like, what is happening? Like, maybe we should pray to our old gods. Maybe we should go back to the old style of worship and ask for guidance, because we don't know what's going on. And then there was probably definitely someone that was like, bro, Moses was like, we got to worship only like this one God that he just parted the Red Sea. And they're like, yeah, whatever. But like this, we've been worshiping this forever. Like, this is so comfortable to us. Let's just ask for like information from the guides we know, and then they set up, and then they do idol worship, and then they get freaking banned from the Holy Land for 40 years. They have to wander in the desert. And that story is about how easy it is to forget that divine intervention that has just happened, right? How humans tend to go back to the older, comfortable pattern, even if they've just experienced some enlightenment. Healing is not linear, for sure. And it is much easier to believe in what was true before than it is to believe in something completely new, even if you've seen a miracle. So that energy was like, be in the Red Sea with me. Be in the place where we're standing here and the sea has been parted and we're shocked and in awe about it. And just stay there. Don't go to the next place where you want to go back to your old beliefs. Stay in the place where you see how miraculous things are, where you have joy and appreciation. And I love that. So I used my feelings, my emotions, which were showing me I was feeling not quite like I should, to reveal what it was that I was afraid of. And then as soon as I could kind of figure that fear out, I found a way to deal with it. And that's how emotions are supposed to work. It's not like, oh, I feel so bad, I'm just going to give up on life. It's like, I feel bad. Why? Like being curious and determined to figure it out. Only I know what is appropriate for me. When you remember that everyone who asks is given, then how wonderful and appropriate it is for you to make the choices for you. For the universe operates much more efficiently without a middleman interceding on your behalf. You always know in the moment what is best for you. This is coming out again. This was here yesterday. This is for the both of you. You have to remember that you've both asked and it will be given. And that it is appropriate for you to make your own choices, not to worry about what the outside world is saying. Again, that I can't help from looking outside for a guarantee. You don't need to look outside. There doesn't need to be a middleman telling you what to do or who you are or where to go or what's going to happen or when it's going to happen. You always know in the moment what is best for you. You do. Your emotions are guiding you. Divine couple, hold your vision. Get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitive, connect with nature. And this is here because this relationship is grounding. You are starting to internalize these lessons to the point where I'm saying the same things every day because you are understanding it, that I'm explaining what's in your headspace. You're like, I know this is what I need to do. And you're doing it. Now get grounded, come into that 3D, be in nature, be connected to the divine through the earth, not just through that connection that ethereal 5D connection, but here in the 5D grounded. Hawk spirit is back. Flying high above the landscape, the hawk sees both the big picture and the small details, observes the rain and the pond as well as the cloud, and doesn't miss anything. When hawk spirit arrives, you are called to pay close attention to messages from spirit that can appear anywhere in any form. Listen to your intuition and keep your eyes open for synchronicities, the meaningful coincidences. Hawk Spirit asks you not to dismiss the signs that Spirit is sending to guide you. Lately, have you been hearing the same word or song or coming across the same symbol here, there, and in the strangest places? Perhaps you hear a song on the radio with just the right lyric pertaining to your query, or you begin to notice uncanny billboards, license plates, and other places where repetitive numbers or words show up for you to notice. Pay attention to the animals that appear for you and connect with their symbolism. Spirit wants to communicate and reaches out again and again. When hawk spirit appears, it is a sign to listen. Let spirit be your guide, divine couple. Pay attention to the messages you're getting and let spirit guide you. All right, Kuan Yin. She is our goddess for, and I'm sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. She is our goddess today to close out our reading. We are using her, or you can use her energy to focus your goddess energy today. We are balancing the divine goddess through a daily practice, 15 minutes. Put both hands over your heart. And you're repeating the mantra, my heart is the heart of the goddess. And that energy can be any divine feminine energy that you would like to visualize. And we're just learning about all the different divine feminine energies that people have known and worked with throughout the centuries. So, Kuan Yin, revered throughout Asia for thousands of years, is the Chinese goddess of infinite mercy and compassion. Her name means she who listens to the sounds, suffering of the world. In the Buddhist tradition, she is an aspect of Avalokitesvara, the bodhisattva who sprang from one of the Buddha's tears. She once took the form of Mao Shan, a woman who was spurned by her father for refusing to marry. Later, Mao Shan sacrificed both arms and legs in order to heal her father. Her appeal is particularly widespread because she gives assistance in this world. She provides the earthly blessings of children, health, and long life and rescues people from drowning, lightning, and poverty. She is particularly a protector of women. Kuan Yin is a symbol of the unlimited compassion each of us can have for ourselves. No matter what the situation, it is possible to treat ourselves with mercy and love. All right, that is today's reading. Thank you for joining me. It is Wednesday. That means tomorrow is Thursday, and I will be doing a reading most likely in the morning as planned. I usually do one every single day here on YouTube. But on Thursdays, I also do a Friday forecast reading with Eric from Positive Tarot Wisdom live on Instagram at 3:33 p.m. Pacific Coast Time, 6:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can catch that tomorrow, Thursday the 28th. I think that's the correct day. If you want a little extra tuned in tarot. Otherwise, I will see you here tomorrow morning. Have a lovely day today. Please like, subscribe, share, click on the notification bell. Help to grow my channel. Get the message out there to the people who need to hear it. And I will see you bright and early. Well, maybe not too bright and early, but early tomorrow morning. Have a great day, everyone.